23, and I had him when I was 17 and in high school, and his dad wasn't ready to be a dad, and I found myself raising him alone. I met my ex-husband when my son was about 2.5, and was still raising him alone for a while. Ended up with my ex-husband for about 18 years, and then more recently I've been on my own with the kids for 2.5 years. Raising Justin on my own, I think I felt like then I fit into society's definition of a single mom because I was really young and white, and he's biracial, and I definitely met a lot of resistance from caregivers, from schools, from adults on the street, people in the grocery store, people on the bus, from my family and my friends, and definitely felt at that point that I fit into that definition. Very unsupported. People look down on me. Now that I'm 40 and the kids are older, and I've done this long enough that, you know, I've been able to watch the older ones be successful and know that I can do this. I don't think I fit into that definition now. We are in a co-parenting situation, so I have the kids 50% of the time and he has the kids 50% of the time. Up until recently, I did have them on my own, except for weekends. But when I do have them and when they are here, I'm 100% on my own. There's, you know, no co-parenting that's happening. No agreeing to help each other with anything. There's just, you know, I'm on my own island, I guess, week by week. So that's just, you know, where we're at right now. I don't really anticipate anything to change. I'm not looking forward to, you know, more help in that aspect at all, actually. Grew up surrounded by strong women. I don't have pity parties. I don't feel sorry for myself. I wake up every single day with the how am I going to make this work attitude. You know, things can get really hard sometimes. And to be honest, I think all of the years as a child and youth worker really laid the groundwork for a lot of the things that I've had to deal with the kids, and has given me a lot of patience, because the kids have dealt with, you know, as some people know, they go through a cycle as well, just very similar to the cycle of grief and loss, because it's, you know, they're losing a part of their family, and I think, you know, just being able to juggle where everybody's kind of like at a different place in the cycle all the time. So with 4 of them, I think my power has been in, you know, my patience and my faith and my ability to get up every morning with that, okay, we're going to do this today and it's going to be okay attitude. I do think it's a cycle. I think I think anybody who's raised in any kind of environment they're learning and growing and thinking and believing that that's the way things are. So, um, you're raised in a single parent environment. I'm not saying that every single parent does it, but you may not have the opportunity to see, how a healthy relationship works. What it's like to compromise with, another person, how to co-parent, how to share responsibilities, and how to really make it work, because parenting children with a partner is really, really hard. it's it's a lot of work, and there are some days where it's more compromise on the adult end of it than it is any kind of compromise you're making with the kids for the kids. Like, everything can get really, really tough. So, I think, I can speak for myself. I know my mom was a single mom, and I didn't have that I wasn't brought up in an environment where there was two people working it out and this like united front of these two parents making everything work, and what you accept and don't accept in a relationship, and how you're supposed to treat each other, and what's healthy and what's unhealthy as far as relationships go, and how it affects the children. I didn't have that opportunity. So I definitely think it's a cycle. And I think with that too is one thing I'm starting to notice with a bit with my own kids, but it's just something that I'm done a lot of reading about, and that is, boys brought up in a single parent household, they often grow up thinking that this is how women are supposed to be, that you're supposed to be the superwoman, you're supposed to be able to do everything and not ever complain about anything. You're supposed to hold it down and do what you gotta do to make things work, and you really have to be that powerhouse. And then they're not learning that, women are human, and that, it's okay to have emotions, and it's okay to have rough days, and it's okay to ask for help. And so, I think that cycle, it kind of works the same for boys as it does for girls. Hell no, baby. I don't know. I don't know. Right at the second, I'm at a no. My reasons being, like anybody needs an excuse, is there's two things. There's one, I don't think my kids are ready. I think it would be very hurtful to them. They're still dealing with some feelings about, mommy and daddy not being together and not loving each other and all this kind of stuff. So I don't think it would be fair to my kids. And two, I have a really, really clear understanding that I have some things I need to work on. That I don't want to do this again. I won't do it again. But I need to figure out what it is. What it was that led me into this situation, this relationship, and everything to begin with, so that I don't do this. I don't have time to do this again. That's 18 years of my life that are gone, and not doing it again. I go to the liquor store. Okay, I'm kidding. You know what? To be honest, I've really had to learn to be selfish a little bit. Whereas, I've just spent 20 years of my life as a mom. I don't know what it's like not to be a mom, but I also spent all those years putting 110% into my kids all the time, and putting them before me all the time. And I really learned to put myself first. And, you know, if I want to leave them home on a Friday night, an hour before they go to bed, to go hang out with my girlfriends. I like to, sometimes I just like to be around adults. You know, I love to be around my kids. So, you know, as far as self, I don't need to get away from my kids all the time. I don't feel like that because I really like them. But definitely doing things that I've always wanted to do. There are a lot of things that I wanted to do that I wasn't doing. I wanted to travel. And I didn't, I think mostly because of guilt. So I've been doing some traveling and other, you know, just doing other things, going out with my friends, going out for dinner, going out for drinks, and just doing things that, and having fun. Everything always works out. Um, I guess the biggest thing, I mean, I think the hardest thing for me was finding the courage to leave. And, you know, I knew in my head that I could do it, but actually doing it was a completely different story. And just being able to power through that and to be patient. Because, you know, I gave myself, I think, these really ridiculous time frames. Because, you know, I like to set goals, because that's what we do as child and youth workers. You set goals and objectives and, you know, your little list of things you do to achieve everything. And I gave myself some pretty ridiculous time frames. And I wasn't being patient with myself. So, you know, I was like, I'm going to give myself a year to get back on my feet, and I'm going to give myself a year. Everything was a year. And it's been 2.5 years, and I think in 2.5 years I was barely able to keep my head above water, and but things are working out, you know, the kids are okay, and there were some times where I was wondering whether they would be or not. I knew I'd be okay, but just really being patient.